Of this demo, let's assume that you're working for this company called M-Mart, which is a retail chain, and it wants its employees in its retail locations to be able to order new items from its fulfillment centers throughout nearby locations. So they gave you this Figma design where they want to have this new page called order, and they want their employees to be able to see which of the locations they are, which items they carry. And when you click on them, then you'll go into this page where you can see the availabilities for deliveries and book on delivery from there and specify which items they want. All right. Traditionally, you'll be probably using, if you're a full stack engineer, you'll be probably creating a PostgreSQL with locations and interface the CRUD to create this list of fulfillment centers, and then probably create this interface where you can sync calendars with external calendar sources and sync them and be able to create a new appointment based on that. With AirJam, you can do this within minutes with very little amount of code, and let me show you how. So in AirJam, and AirJam kind of works like any other developer dashboard. You can create a new component and using a create tool. Here in this case, I'm creating a new calendar component, and I already created one here, so I'm just gonna show. So you can just put a name of the component and how you want this component to function. For this specific case, I want the component that you can book and reserve. So I'm clicking on this, and then I want to make sure that since this retail chain operates in California, I'm just selecting the default time zone to be that, but this will be overridden by wherever the time zone of the browser is. And then you can select few options. For instance, you can select who will be able to see and manage the calendar and make a booking request, and you can do that with the by providing an authentication hook with things like Google Firebase, Clerk, or anything else. In this M-Mart case, it could be M-Mart's own custom and authentication endpoint. And when you select on one, then you should be able to see server-to-server connection and configurations that you need to do that. And then in this case, I want to have an admin to be able to create and update all the fulfillment center locations. So I'm going to click on user manage so I can create that page separately. If you click on admin manage, then you should be able to create and manage resources here on this page. Right. For this, you can if you click on this, then you can create a page on the internal tool itself to manage that. All right, and then once you create this, then you'll be getting a component ID, and that's what you will be needing to work with AirJam's components. Right, so here I created a stub pages for this to work. So I created this new tab that I'm adding called order. It's very simple. Basically a blank page with just the item added here, and then here it's a very simple page so far with just the title. And first off, what I have to do is to do an npm install for the component, and then once I do that, then I'm getting the IDs here, and then I'll be adding that component. So basically here I just added that. I just renamed it to a red resource for my visibility. I added the ID that I just copied here, and then this is a local demo, so I'm just showing it as a local. And then this component can behave in a few different view type. In this case, I want it to be a map resources, which means it'll load maps interface and then show the resources in some sort of a map. And then I want to specify a latitude and longitude so that wherever the retail employee logs in, then that becomes the default center to search from. So this will be passed from M-Mart's own logic, and then just the Google API key to make that all happen. And then if you go back to this page, then you should be able to see this. So this will be loaded right away. I already added a few fulfillment locations, so you'll be seeing that here. And then this is the default interface that you'll be seeing. And you would probably want to make some adjustments to the UI, right? So for instance, if I want to change the icon here, then all I have to do is to get some sort of icon image. In this case, I just copied and pasted the link from Google image search, and then that will change that to whatever you want. And then next, say if I wanted to make this look more like the Figma doc, right? So that will be more useful for the Mart employees, and I can add this rendering resource functions. So for each resources, this will be the function that the component uses to render the actual UI. And then I just added this like a simple thing, and it links to a new page that I want to see as a detail for that resource. And click on that, and we'll show this. So you can override, you can change this to whatever the way that you want it to look like. And then in addition, our customer wanted to see how far this location is from where your center of your retail location is, and then what items they carry, right? So for the distances, you can create a very simple, I just copied and pasted this from Stack Overflow for getting a location distance from one geo latitude and longitude to another, and then I'm using that to I can use that to get something like this, so that I can show that this is on 8.3 miles from whatever location that I'm gunning for, and that it was defaulted from. And then this will be a custom field data that the AirJam can store and piggyback and for you to process. So in this case, I created this thing called categories, and I'm just showing the list of categories. So categories are things that these fulfillment centers are processing, right? And then I added this link. So if I click on this link, then it will just go to this blank page that I haven't actually implemented yet. And that should look more like this one, where you should be able to see the schedule for the available times to deliver, and then the map and the details. So very similar details. So I'll be adding the same calendar component, but in this case, I'm gonna be using a different view type called resource detail. So for a specific resource, this will return a detail about that resource. And then for that, I need to now specify resource ID. So that'll be coming in from the route ID. So I'll be using the route parameter to get the location ID. And then just making sure that that's passed, otherwise it will be shown as undefined. So if I do this, then this will just show this. It won't actually render anything. This is just gonna be returning the JavaScript object for the detail. So I actually have to create a rendering function here again, and I'm gonna be creating this new thing called render space, and all it does is very similar, just the item's name and description, and then the custom field that I mentioned before. So that will just show this. I already added the CSS for this here, so this is showing that, but all of the styles can be controlled using CSS and your custom overrides this way. And then on the bottom, I want to also create the booking interface, and for that, I just have to create another calendar component, and then in this case, I want to show it as a calendar book for a specific resource. This also requires the resource ID to be passed, so that it will be syncing the availabilities with that resource. And then once I do that, then you should be able to see something like this, and then you can select the date, and this interface will come up for booking. All right. So for you to create a new fulfillment location, you would probably want to create a new page in an admin interface, like say here, fulfillment for creating, updating. Just gonna give an example for adding a fulfillment location. So the page that I just created, which is very basic stuff, I'm gonna be adding this new component called calendar resource editor, which you also have to do an npm install to add. And then all I have to do is to add the same ID for the that I got from here, and then once I do that, then I should be seeing this very default interface for adding a resource. So these are all default items that comes with the for adding a resource. You can change which fields to show and hide from this advanced settings, so you can use the settings to hide things like booking duration and other things, and you can choose to disable syncing. It also comes with the syncing calendar sync, which will let you sync with like Google Calendar sources or CalDep, so that you can sync with the calendar for the availability for that fulfillment location. Once you have this, you also want to be able to create interface to manage the custom data, right? Like the categories that we created before. So for that, I can create this category here, and then I can append it to the end of the form. So I'm just going to use this attribute called custom rear elements, and then edit this select. And once I do that, then I should be able to see something like this. So I can select which categories to add for this fulfillment location. And then the way you can store this is by turning it into JSON data and just feeding it like this. Just add it to the custom data field, and then whatever JSON blob it is, it will store it along with the data for the resource itself, so that you can use it to do a search, or you can use it to display and do other things too. So that's how the AirJam component works. Hope you enjoyed this demo. Thank you.